Hey guys, welcome to the channel and another video. Today I'm going to be watching Schindler's List by Steven Spielberg, starring Liam Neeson, Ben Kingsley, and Ralph Fiennes. This is a film that needs no introduction, neither does the director. It is widely considered among the best films of our era, and I'm quite familiar with the subject matter. Although I have seen Schindler's List running on TV over the years, I never took the time to actually watch the film, mostly because of the 3-hour runtime. And I know this film was shot in black and white, so teenage me used to kind of avoid that. I, however, have read about Oskar Schindler and the great work he did in saving a lot of Jewish people during World War II in university. About this particular Spielberg adaptation, though, I know that there is a famous girl in red, although I'm unaware of the context behind it. That's literally all I know, though. I have one more question for you guys. There is another film that deals with a similar subject matter, Polanski's The Pianist. I think it stars Adrian Brody. Again, that's another film I used to see running on TV that I know is famous, but I kind of avoid it too. So do let me know if that's worth reviewing for you guys. But before we get into it, to help support the channel, I have a Patreon page for full-length reactions to this movie and over 100 movies, early access and weekly posts for what to watch next. You'll need your own copy to watch along. The link's in the description below, by the way. Please consider being a patron. Please subscribe to the channel. Do check out my other videos. Like if you liked this video, dislike it if you didn't. With all that being said, let's get started. Schindler's List, Spielberg, Neeson, Kingsley, Fiennes. Let's go. Very simple introduction. September 39, German forces. Yeah. Spielberg choosing black and white intentionally, and this is a very distinct black and white with deep blacks instead of grays. The filmmaking style seems very intimate. Liam Neeson, fantastic actor. And I recognize this piece of music. I think it's very famous. Wow. Amazing camera work. And I'm pretty thankful I'm watching this as an adult, because if I watched this as a teenager, I would have never recognized the subtleties in Spielberg's filmmaking process.
From the gentleman.
Find out who he is.
Yes, sir.
Stay here.
He's definitely piqued their interest.
How are you doing? An extra chair, please.
Who is that man?
That's Oskar Schindler.
A sharp cut to the army. Look at the camera work. Focusing on his logo and then focusing on the people and their armbands.
I mean, what if I just took this thing off? What are they going to do about it?
They will shoot you.
By law, I have to tell you, sir, I'm a Jew.
Well, I'm a German, so there we are. If you want, you could run the company for me.
That's certainly a proposal. I don't know what to feel about it yet.
I'm sure I don't know anybody who'll be interested in this.
Tell them they should be.
You ask for shoe polish.
In metal containers. This is glass. It's not what I asked for.
Nice shirt.
Schindler is definitely scouting for something.
I'm going to need some other things too as things come up.
This won't be a problem.
This imagery is so realistic and sad. Jesus, look at this set. Look how kids get indoctrinated.
It could not be better.
It could be worse.
Wow. The editing.
Policeman, though, could you believe it? I know it's hard to believe.
Oh, no, it's not hard to believe.
Not good enough.
It's not good enough.
Things have changed, my friend.
Yeah, he's still taking advantage of their situation.
There would be a percentage on the company.
Forget the whole thing. Get out.
Yeah, he knows he has them cornered. I think there'll be a significant change in Schindler's character because he does end up saving a lot of Jewish people.
Jewish worker's salary. You pay it directly to the SS, not to the worker. He gets nothing.
But it's less. It's less than what they would pay a Pope.
It's less.
That's the point I'm trying to make.
You're a musician? Yeah. I'd find a good hiding place if I were you.
I'm not going to hide like some animal.
You'll have to leave the line now. Then you'll get a blue card, a Blauschein.
One more thing I just noticed in regards to the filmography, whenever he's on the streets, Spielberg is using a handheld camera, and whenever he's showing the Germans or the Nazis, he's using a very steady camera.
Stand over there. Move. Next. History and literature. Since when it's not the same shit.
Metal polisher.
You're crazy. You left it in your drawer.
I think he just got saved,
I'm a metal polisher.
not a teacher. Because they're looking for hard laborers, not intellectuals.
If it's carbonized, clean it with a file.
Patient?
This sequence is essentially a montage of how Schindler's factory is being set up.
How is your typing?
All right.
Please. I don't know how. They're all so qualified.
Using this very contrasty black and white really focuses your eyes on the very black or very white subjects on screen.
Expressly designed and crafted for military use.
What a sad cycle. He's using Jewish money to supply stuff to the German army,
of highly skilled
who
and
will use it
experienced artisans and
to destroy the Jewish people.
Deliver, see attached list and available colors. And looking forward to a long and mutually prosperous association, I extend to you in advance my sincerest gratitude and very best regards.
Since he already greased his fingers with the high society of the army, he got the contract. He's a businessman through and through. Yep.
I'm saying I couldn't have done this without you.
And that's something he's not proud of. He doesn't want to be here one bit.
You're welcome.
And you can see from Kingsley's body language.
Zanowska, who is it? You know something? You would like her.
I don't have to like her. Just because you do. It doesn't work that way.
Be careful of the step, miss.
Mrs. Schindler married.
Oh!
My father, at the height of his success, had 50. I've got 350.
In every business I tried, I can see now it wasn't me that failed. Something was missing.
Luck.
War.
Profiting off war.
Should I stay?
It's up to you.
Promise me, Oscar. No doorman or maitre d' will ever presume I'm anyone other than Mrs. Schindler. And I'll stay.
Marcel and Friedrich.
We're doing well.
Yes.
Better this month than last?
Yes.
Any reason to think next month will be worse?
The war could end.
I want to thank you. I'll continue to work hard for you.
That's great.
One-armed old man.
God bless you.
He feels uncomfortable because he knows he's actually taking advantage of that poor man.
What's his use?
Very useful.
Very useful. We'll be late for work.
You need to understand that some of the officers here don't give a damn about production. Juice, shoveling, snow.
Oh, man.
Come with me. I work for Oscar Schindler.
I lost a worker.
Again, excellent editing. I thought this was happening in real time, but the scene is happening later. Insane imagery. I can see the red, even though it's not there.
A one-armed machinist.
He was a metal press operator.
Leave your luggage on the platform.
Oh man, these trains are the concentration camp trains.
He's on the list.
There's nothing I can do.
Gentlemen,
Thank you very much. You'll both be in southern Russia before the end of the month.
Stern! Stern! Itzhak, Stern!
Shan! Herr Director, I somehow left my work card at home. I tried to explain them.
They were never intended to be given back to those people. They're separating all the valuables. Yeah, these teeth didn't just fall out. Jewish town.
Right side, get to A. Left side, get to B. Which is where you will want to start, huh?
Ralph Fiennes.
Which of you has domestic experience?
Herr Kommandant, the entire foundation has to be torn down and repoured.
You are an engineer.
Yes.
I can tell from his demeanor that he's a sadist.
Shoot her.
Oh, whoa.
Take it down, repour it, rebuild it, like she said. Today is history, and you are part of it.
He's an effing sadist.
They came here with nothing, and they flourished. By this evening, those 6 centuries are a rumor. They never happened.
By the way, this has to be one of the most realistic depictions of Nazi Germany, Poland by extension, I've ever seen. Oh man, they have to swallow the diamonds. That's the only way to hide. Just a name on a piece of paper. That's your death warrant.
I told you I won't go in the sewers.
Deine Papiere, Jude! That line! Ah! Dr. Machine!
As good as that. Leave her.
Women to the left, men to the right.
This is a horror movie. This is a horror movie.
Mrs. Dresser?
Yes.
Please, hide under the stairs. I've searched the building. There's no one here.
Good kid.
Come with me. I will put you in the good line.
Do you know the saying now of life is still life? You are not a boy anymore. I'm saying a blessing for you.
That was weirdly the most emotional scene I've seen in the film so far for some reason. Oh, it's that girl. This is having a clear effect on Schindler. Poor girl. That was a deadly mistake. And the use of absolute silence to show the factories empty. Look at the sadist taking in the view from his villa. No way. Like they're animals. This is crazy.
How are you doing, Oscar Schindler?
I was explaining to Herr Bosch and Herr Madrich some of the benefits of moving their factories into Kwashiork.
Everybody's gone.
They're not gone. They're here.
They're mine!
I like the framing of this shot, how Schindler is framed with more light than Ralph Fiennes' character. See, Ralph Fiennes' character is in the dark.
You want to stay where you are. What you want is your own sub-camp.
You could make things easier for me.
Looks like he got his workers back.
Make sure I see my cut from the factory owners in this camp.
That's the cost.
Don't forget who you are working for now.
And I can't put my finger on Oscar Schindler quite yet because he is still taking advantage of the whole situation, but he does have moments of clarity where he feels so much guilt and remorse.
I couldn't get you out of here.
Be all right.
Put these in your pocket. Come on.
Herr Director, don't let things fall apart. I work too hard.
You can see his sympathy coming through slowly. Oh, this road is made of gravestones. He's going to kill him, isn't he? This is horrifying. This is freaking horrifying. Any one of these shots can be his death. That was crazy.
Nobody knows who stole the chicken.
You committed this crime.
No, sir.
But you know who, though?
Him! It's an honor to work for such a great company.
It's great to have you.
You can see Schindler's empathy growing.
What can I do for you?
They say that no one dies here. They say your factory is a haven.
Who says that?
Everyone.
And him being perceived as good to the Jewish people is actually bad for Schindler because he'd be known as a Jewish sympathizer to the Nazis.
My parents are in Warsaw. Their names are...
I don't do that. Such activities are illegal.
Started to get forced papers.
You will not entrap me, Miss Strasser. Bring everybody over? Is that what you think? It's not a factory. It's not an enterprise of any kind. It's a haven. It's dangerous to me. What do you want me to do about it?
Nothing.
Perlman. Husband and wife.
Oh, it's that woman who visited him.
Have Goldberg bring them over.
I can't imagine the relief on that woman's heart. These are the moments that are most emotional for me. I don't know whether I've been desensitized to all these dead bodies or not, but these little human moments are what really gets to me at the end of the day.
I was just helping Lisiek to find something to clean the stains from the Herr Commandant's bathtub.
You don't have to report to me, Helen. I know your sufferings, Helen. He won't shoot you because he enjoys you too much. Is that why they fear us? Power is when we have every justification to kill. And we don't.
Show Smokey on the job. Tell her not to do it again.
Did he incorporate what he learned about power from Schindler?
I've been unable to remove the stains from the bathtub.
Go ahead, go on, leave. Pardon.
Please don't change your mind and shoot the child. Ralph Fiennes is an amazing actor. This is hard to watch. Every shot of this movie is designed to evoke emotion.
It's a bit lonely down here, listening to everyone upstairs having such a good time. No, you make a good point.
It's horrifying how he's having a conversation with himself while she's shaking with fear.
Is this the face of a rat?
Superb editing work here. This
No,
is
I don't think so.
really messed up. All she did was just stand there.
On behalf of the workers, I wish for you a happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Oh, shit.
Thank you very much.
We've got to separate the sick from the healthy. To make room.
This is humiliating. They're making themselves look more alive by putting blood on their faces.
Separate the sick from the healthy. Those who can work and those who can't. She can work.
Where are they taking the kids, man?
Do you say we get your fire hoses out here and hose down the cars? Thank you.
Bring the fire hoses. Where's the fire?
His intentions are good.
That's it. Come on.
This is really cruel, Oscar.
You open the doors, you give them water, yeah?
Jawohl.
Yeah.
about you? I kissed a Jewish girl.
She was Jewish. She shouldn't have done it, but you didn't see this girl.
And he's defending Schindler here because he's a huge source of his money.
You should kiss us, not them. God forbid you ever get a real taste for Jewish skirt.
It's not snow, it's ash! Incinerated human beings. 10,000. They have a conveyor belt to a fire pit.
The party's over, Oscar. They're closing us down, sending everybody to Auschwitz. What? I don't know.
It's that girl. That was the death of innocence, and that's what that girl symbolizes.
You're staying, I take it.
What not for?
What for? You have a business to run.
You ran my business. I've done what I came here for. I've got more money than any man can spend in a lifetime.
He finally has the drink, while tears rolling down his face. He can't sleep anymore, knowing that they're going to kill everybody.
You want these people?
These people. My people. I want my people. I know them. I'm familiar with them. I don't have to train them.
I love the framing of this shot, separating them with a black bar in the middle, showing that they're different people now.
What's a person worth?
No. What's one worth to you?
Finally, when they're on the same level, they're being framed together. Very interesting.
How many?
600.
Finish the page and leave one space at the bottom.
What a beautiful frame. And again, lighting work.
Oscar, there's a clerical error here.
There's one more name I want to put there.
Michael Lempel.
Rosalia Nostra.
Belanos. Oldek and Mila Pfefferberg.
They're still alive.
Helena Hirsch.
Helen! He won the game.
The train with the women has already left Płaszów. Welcome to Brünlitz.
Are they on the wrong train?
They're in Auschwitz.
Oh, thank goodness. I think Schindler is going to Auschwitz. Well, they've been told it's a disinfection chamber, but it's clearly not. It was a disinfection chamber. Holy crap, that was so scary, man. I thought they'd be executed then and there.
We are not supposed to be here. We work for Oskar Schindler.
You're not the only industrialist who needs labor.
He's here already. Again, deliberate use of light here. Come into the light. He does come into the light. Quite literally.
Belle de Queen Leonora.
Oh no!
What are you doing? These are mine. These are my workers. They should be on my train.
I just realized why they separated the kids. They don't want another generation of Jewish people, so they'd rather kill the kids. You've never seen an extermination on this scale in the history of humanity.
If you shoot without thinking, you go to prison, I get paid.
That's Mrs. Schindler, if I remember correctly.
No doorman or maitre d' will ever mistake you again.
There's a rumor you've been going around miscalibrating the machines.
Stan, if this factory ever produces a shell that can actually be fired, I'll be very unhappy.
He's a changed man.
What's the matter with you? You should be preparing for the Sabbath.
Yeah, the soldiers, they don't know how to react to this. Factory was a model of non-production. Spending millions of bright marks to sustain. Wow. He continued this charade for months successfully.
Why? Am I broke?
He is actually broke, I think.
The German war is therefore at an end.
The unconditional surrender of Germany has just been announced.
Many of you have come up to me and thanked me.
Thank your fearless Stern.
Thank yourselves. I'm a profiteer of slave labor. I am a criminal. At midnight, you'll be free, and I'll be hunted. I know you have received orders from our commandant to dispose of the population of this camp. Or you could leave and return to your families as men instead of murderers.
See, some of them are actually just regular people who've been forced in a situation like this.
Thank you, Mr. Yeh.
Look at the number of people.
We've written a letter trying to explain things in case you were captured. Every worker has signed it.
It's Hebrew from the Talmud. It says, whoever saves one life saves the world entire.
I could have got more. I could have got more. And I could have got more.
Oscar, there are 1,100 people who are alive because of you.
1,100.
Good would have bought this car. Why did I keep the car? 10 people right there.
Liam Neeson's acting here is just crazy.
One more person.
Good for them. Changing clothes like that.
You have been liberated by the Soviet army.
Where should we go?
Don't go east, that's for sure. They hate you there. I wouldn't go west either if I were you.
Look at this landscape shot. Even without color, it's just so symbolic and telling.
Heil Hitler.
Oh, okay. Wow. Wow. Oh, they're the real people. Oleg. I remember Oleg. This is Mrs. Stern. And the real Helen Hirsch. This is Oskar Schindler's wife. Wow. 6,000. It's based on a novel. I can't say that I'm very happy or I'm amazed. I am amazed, but not in that traditional sense. Thank you for the recommendation, guys. Okay, I took a while to collect my thoughts. First off, that was both an incredible film and a very important history lesson. Steven Spielberg was a master at work here, and this ranks very, very highly among his huge body of work. Schindler's List was the 1 in 1,000 film that's pretty much perfect. I couldn't find any negatives about it, any weaknesses. Even the runtime, I thought it'd be too long, but I don't even know what I'd cut out of the film to make it better because it is already the best version of itself. The strengths of the film, though, included the directing, writing, acting, cinematography, editing, sets and props, and music. Pretty much everything. Let's start with the screenplay by Steven Zilliam and the directing by Steven Spielberg. I didn't know the film was based on a novel till I read the credits. I have to get my hands on the book as soon as possible to see how well the adaptation was made. But based on the emotions this film evoked from me, I'm pretty sure it was pretty faithful to the book. Steven Spielberg and Zillion start the story off slow, setting the pace with a candle losing its light, almost symbolizing the last hope that's leaving the Jewish people in a way. We see them slowly getting rounded up and sent to a ghetto. Oskar Schindler is soon introduced as a high society businessman mingling with the socialites and high-ranking officers of the SS. I don't think we're meant to feel any sympathy for Schindler at this point, since we see him bribing and trying to set up his business by taking advantage of the cheap Jewish labor. We also see him take investments from the rich Jewish people who've recently been displaced as seed money to fund production. At first, Schindler sees them as just cheap labor that will help him cut his costs. We see an example of this when he refuses to hire Polish people because they cost a little more. His Jewish accountant, Stern, helps him further set up the factory with his contacts in the Jewish community. While Schindler is getting rich, we get introduced to a literal madman, the SS officer Amon Goff, who's put in charge of a concentration camp, setting it up and everything, as he murders half the population of the ghetto and relocates the other half to the concentration camp. Seeing that profoundly affects Schindler, and he starts looking at his workers as more than labor. Spielberg spends much of the second act showing us the horrors of the concentration camps and how easily people lost their lives. The humiliation and torture they went through for an extra day of life. The sheer sadism of people like Amon and some other officers we see. How they shoot people at random and how Amon acts like a god among men, having the power to take away life on a whim. Helen, his housekeeper and servant, points out that there are no rules to follow to ensure that they will be alive. They could be shot and killed whenever and for whatever reason. What a horrifying existence. I cannot begin to imagine the mental state these people, these everyday people were in. I could go on about the horrors, but you just witness them with me. Spielberg doesn't shy away from anything at all, showing abuse, torture, and the indiscriminate murder of innocents, children. The scene in the third act in Auschwitz, when the women were almost killed, making the audience and the women think that they were about to be gassed, it was nothing short of disturbing. By the third act, though, it's quite clear that Schindler cannot take it anymore and actively starts in helping his workers, subtly at first. He starts bribing people to get more Jewish workers to the factory, and by the end, even though everyone is ordered to be killed at Auschwitz and other concentration camps, he somehow manages to save over 1,100 people, going bankrupt in the process. Amon, the sadist, thankfully gets captured and hanged. On the other hand, Schindler is racked with guilt that he could have saved more. He could have done more. I felt more for that man at that point than any character in any film I've seen. And how the people showed their gratitude by making him a ring and just being there for him. What a wonderfully powerful scene. Before moving on to the cinematography, I wanted to mention the significance of that girl in red. Although I'm not 100% sure of the meaning, I think she represented all the children, the innocents, and the lost souls of the war. I think the red symbolized blood, purity, and love. My heart just broke seeing that little girl's body being carried away in the cart with the others. It was incredibly haunting imagery. Speaking of imagery, the cinematography of this film was crazy good. Very few films have achieved this, and even fewer filmmakers know how to actually evoke so much emotions through visuals. The use of black and white was so perfect in hindsight. I don't think this particular story could have been told any other way. Spielberg framed every single shot of the film to perfection. Characters were so beautifully lit. And the amazing thing is that the use of light in the film was carefully measured and brilliant. It had meaning behind it, which is so rare to see nowadays. The shots of the cities and the ghettos, the dead bodies on the streets, and the misery of everyone involved, they were visceral. The editing of the film was also masterful. Several times during the movie I was shocked and in awe of how beautifully Spielberg and the editor cut between the luxurious lifestyle of the Nazis and the SS and the death and despair the Jewish people were suffering. The editing again was slow and deliberate, and I can't see how else this film could have been cut. The runtime was just perfect. The music in this film was by John Williams, a legend and a longtime Spielberg collaborator. I'm very familiar with his work. His score here was so intimate and beautiful, for lack of a better word. The main motif played on the violin was just heartbreaking to hear. Even though I found it absolutely exquisite, this piece of music, I don't think I can listen to it again just because of the memories I have associated with it. This goes to show the power of the score here. The sound design itself was so true to life. I can only imagine. Just by closing my eyes at several points during the runtime, I could hear the suffering and the sounds of the people crying. The sound of the furnace in the concentration camp is something that will stay with me for a while. I can't recall that exact moment, but during a particular scene, there was a child screaming in the background, and I don't think I can forget that too. Top tier sound design is all I have to say. The sets and props of the film were, I'm running out of adjectives again, they were immaculate. From the streets to the cars to the broken houses and ghettos to the fully made concentration camps. It looks like a lot of it was actually shot on location, but I can't tell. All I can say is that it looked real to me, as real as it could get on film. The factories and the machines all worked, so I have to assume that Spielberg took that extra step to make sure everything was authentic. Even the costume designs of every single characters, they were meticulously made. I have the highest praise for the production design of the film. There were too many actors to talk about individually. Every single performance was better than the previous person, down to the last extra. I want to particularly point out Ben Kingsley's Stern and Embeth David's Helen Hirsch. These two performances and characters really touched my heart, and they were amazing. I want to talk about the main two leads now. Oscar Schindler was played by the amazing Liam Neeson. This was the best performance from him I've seen by a mile. What is he doing nowadays with these Taken sequels? I mean, the first one was half decent, but I can't imagine an actor of Neeson's caliber doing cheap action films like that. He deserves better. Anyways, his performance here was so great, I'm at a loss for words. The way he portrayed the change in his character, the subtle changes in his facial expressions to his eventual breakdown as he thinks he hadn't done enough. From almost an unsympathetic character to somebody I shed a tear for. This is great writing and acting. This is greatness right here. And on the opposite end of the spectrum, Ralph Fiennes played Amon Goff. And by opposite end, I mean character-wise, not acting, because his acting in this film was just as good as Neeson's. He played a psychopath so well, I forgot at points that I was watching a movie and genuinely wanted to throw something at the screen. I'm sure you guys could tell. Another classic case of loved the performance and hated the character. Just imagining the fact that there were thousands of SS officers just like him makes my blood boil. From a pure narrative standpoint, Amon might be among my most hated villains of all time because he was actually a real person and not a figment of somebody's imagination. This man existed and he was responsible for taking the lives of hundreds, if not thousands of people. Ralph Fiennes was excellent. I don't have any criticism of this film, so overall, Schindler's List was a perfectly made film. I wasn't amazed, far from it. I was horrified by this film, and I think that's the emotion Steven Spielberg wanted to evoke from the audience. Very successfully, by the way. Liam Neeson and Ralph Fiennes gave the performances of their lives here, and honestly, so did the rest of the cast. every single one of them. Very few films make me think of the world, the people, and our place in it. This was one of them. Everybody who is of age should watch this film at least once in their lives, because this was more than a film. This was human history. Anyways, thank you for watching. I have a Patreon page. Consider being a patron. Subscribe to the channel. Do check out my other videos. Like if you liked this video, dislike it if you didn't. I will see you in the next one.